Is another example of Milky Way processing. This time it's going to be a recent panoramic image captured from class last week up on Donner Pass. So first I'm going to select the beginning of the panorama, and I shot from right to left. So we've got my images continuing to this point. So click on the first one, find the last one, and hit Shift and the arrow, and you will have selected all of the image for your pano. Then you go up to Photo and cruise down to Photo Merge and hit Panorama. Lightroom will gather the information and give you a preview of what the panoramic would look like. You have choices between spherical, cylindrical, and perspective. 99% of the time I'm happy with what it comes out with a spherical image. So there we go. That is the raw, unadjusted pano. Boundary wrap sometimes can be handy, but sometimes it can hurt you. When you click on boundary wrap, it stretches the image out a little bit, and on very flat and simple horizon lines, it can sometimes add a bit of distortion. So I'm just going to go ahead and leave it as it was. I know what I'm going to do with this image after the fact, and I'm not going to need this extra edging. So we're going to hit merge, and it's going to merge itself. You can see the process bar up in the top left corner. And once it is done processing, we will have an entire new file that will be a raw or NEF file. While we're waiting, I'll give you a preview as to what I did with my file. And this is it right here. And I'm going to walk you through all of the basics that allowed me to get to this process. All right, so Lightroom has created the pano. I'll wait till we get to the full res. We're going to go to develop mode now. All right, so just like my single shot processing, it's pretty much the same aspect now that we have the file. And increase those highlights, open up those shadows, add a little contrast globally right now. I like to switch to the landscape color mode. And then we can right now, I know that I'm just going to want to add some yellow and some magenta. I'm going to look at that foreground and tell that it's going to need it. So just a general global adjustment, and we're already singing pretty nicely with a good detail in the core, maybe a little air glow. But as with the single exposure, now I'm going to mask the sky. And this new masking operation in Lightroom is phenomenal. It's really good at working around the trees and intricate details. And with this now, we want to maximize the contrast, probably increase some more highlight detail, maybe open some shadows as well. And one of my favorite tools, the dehaze. And this really starts to blacken our blacks so that those stars start to shine. In this case, it's going to be a pretty heavy dehaze of around 50%. And I'm going to mess around with the color temperatures a little bit. Actually, in this case, tone it down just a bit. I like to have a slightly more bluish black tonality outside of the stars. And we're going to maybe add just a bit of magenta. I like that. So now our clouds have got some nice color, good detail within the core. And since I'd already played with this image, I decided to create this panoramic actually into a classic full frame 2x3. But you can see, there we go, I'm just going to crop down a little here and crop down a little there. And then sometimes I will adjust the aspect of a scene just so it fits the intended framing a little better. By doing it allows me to then center the tree while still having the peak and the core. I'm going to continue squishing it just a bit. And now we have a relatively balanced image with that tree as the center point. I can now increase the size. We're going to add some chromatic aberrations just to fix it for a print ready file down the road. I'm going to scroll back up to the channel mixer. And this sometimes is something I use in this particular scene. It allowed me to bring out more in the clouds. So you can see if I start playing with that orange, I can kind of add some vibrancy there. Same with the yellow. And the red didn't do too much here. I'm going to tone that yellow down a little bit. And if I turn the green on, you can see the plants turn a little greener, but in this case I want to work with a little more of that yellow. I like this warm tone to contrast with this visually cold, white, snowy scene. Now I'm going to mask that foreground by selecting sky again, but this time select the invert button. Now you can see we have a mask for the foreground. This will allow us to warm that up a little bit with, in this case, the magenta. I'm looking for a nice neutral white, and before it had a little green tint to it, so we eliminated that. And I'm just going to explore. That's the joy of Lightroom, is we can play with these sliders. We can try a little bit cooler tone. I like that. That seems pretty accurate to what I was seeing, what I saw the file could maintain. Maybe open up those shadows a little, check it out. Yeah, why not? And that is a pretty basic operation. We're going to go back to my sky and open it up just a little bit there. And sometimes it helps to add some blacks to your sky. You can see that just, again, it's like an added contrast. Now we have a wonderful detail within the Milky Way core, the entire arch, and these thin clouds have opened themselves up and added a very unique and wonderful layer to this image that I was really excited about. And that there, folks, is a basic Milky Way processing with a panoramic image. If you have any questions, you guys know how to reach me, and feel free. I love helping everybody learn more about this type of photography and processing. So thank you very much.